Dear students, in this video, I'll be continuing the poem Television. I suggest you to watch the previous video for better understanding. In previous video, we had read that what children used to do before the invention of television. Children used to read lots of books. They used to read stories of dragons, gypsies, queens, whales, treasure islands, smugglers, pirates, ships, elephants, cannibals, and so on. In this video, I'll be proceeding further. I'm starting from page number 23 of your textbook, where smugglers rowed with muffled oars. So the children used to read stories about smugglers who rowed with muffled oars. Muffled means very slow or very low or silent, almost silent sound of oars. Oars is a flat blade used to steer the boat through water. So the smugglers rowed muffled oars. So these are the kind of stories that the children used to read before the invention of television. And pirates wearing purple pants. They also used to read stories about pirates who wore purple pants. And sailing ships and elephants. They read stories about ships and elephants. And cannibals crouching round the pot. So they also used to read stories about cannibals. Cannibals are people who eat human flesh. So they used to read stories about cannibals. Crouching means it's a position where the knees are bent and the upper body is brought forward and down. So almost peeping inside something. And cannibals crouching round the pot, stirring away at something hot. So they used to read stories about cannibals who are crouching around the pot and stirring something hot at something hot. So as if they are cooking something in a pot and they are bending low to peep inside the pot. So these are the stories that the children used to read before the invention of television. It smells so good. What can it be? So they could even imagine how good it smelled. And they're saying, what can it be? Good gracious, it's Penelope. Good gracious means it's again a expression of surprise. Otherwise, gracious means forgiving and kind. So they are expressing their surprise that it's Penelope. Penelope is a mythical character and from Greek mythology, and it was believed. We have read earlier that cannibals were crouching round the pot. Therefore, when the pot smelled, so it smelled good. But to their surprise, they found Penelope. So it was Penelope inside the pot. So Penelope is believed to be eaten up by cannibals. The younger ones had read Beatrix Potter. So the younger children read popular books of famous writer Beatrix Potter, with Mr. Todd, the Dirty Rotter, and Squirrel Nutkin, Pigling Bland, and Mrs. Twiggy Winkle. So these are all the characters from the stories of Beatrix Potter. So you need to remember all the characters in case you are asked a question on name the characters of stories from Beatrix Potter. So that is Mr. Todd, the Dirty Rotter, Squirrel Nutkin, Pigling Bland, and Mrs. Tiggy Winkle. So these are the characters from the stories of Beatrix Potter. So Beatrix Potter wrote fantastic stories featuring different animals with colorful illustrations. So this poet is paying a tribute to this children author for his fantastic stories on animal. That is why he's mentioning about Beatrix Potter in his poem. He has also mentioned one of his story. So the story that is mentioned is how the camel got its hump. So this is the story written by Beatrix Potter, and these are the characters in the stories of Beatrix Potter. So just how the camel got his hump and how the monkey lost his rump. Hump is the risen part on the body of a camel, and rump is tail. So how the monkey got his rump is back end of an animal or a tail. So how the monkey got his rump means how a monkey evolved into a human being. So these were kind of stories that were read by children before the invention of television. And Mr. Todd and Bless My Soul, there's Mr. Rat and Mr. Mole. So these are all the characters of different stories written by Beatrix Potter that were being read by the children before the invention of television. Oh, books, what books they used to know, those children living long ago. So now the writer is reminded of wonderful books that the children used to read before the invention of television. So he is saying that this shows the poet's love for books and how he enjoyed them in his childhood days, and he is making the parents also realize the the how fascinating those books were. And this is how he is making the parents realize that this is what they need to do with their own children. Instead of making them sit in front of television screen, they should make them read books. They should inculcate the habit of reading books in the children. So please, oh please, we beg, we pray, go throw your TV set away. So now in this part, the poet Roald Dahl is requesting the parents to throw away the television set and install a bookshelf in its place. So he's saying that I request you, he says, I beg you, we pray you, go throw the television set and its place you can install a lovely bookshelf on the wall. Then fill the shelves with lots of books. He says that after installing a bookshelf in place of television set, you should fill it with lovely books. Ignoring all the dirty looks. So obviously when television will be taken away, children will not be happy, and parents will have to face some dirty looks of their children, but they should ignore all those dirty looks, and they should replace the TV sets with a lovely bookshelf with lots of books. And then the screams and yells, the bites and kicks, and children hitting you with sticks. So this is probable reaction of children when the parents will throw away the television sets, and in place of that they will install a bookshelf. So this is how the children are expected to react. The parents will have to face some dirty looks, screams, yells, bites and kicks from their children. They may even hit them with sticks. But the poet says, fear not, because we promise you that in about a week or two of having nothing else to do. He's saying that you should not be sad on how the children are reacting. You should not be afraid of, you should not fear of that, or fear of the reaction of the children. And he says that I promise you that in a week or two, when they will have nothing else to do, because the television set is always already removed, so they have nothing else to entertain themselves. So when they'll have nothing else to do, in about a week or two, what will they do? Moving on to next page. They will now begin to feel the need of having something to read. So Roald Dahl assures the parents that after a week or two, those children would find nothing to do without a TV set around. So when there is no TV set around, they won't have anything else to do. So they will finally feel the need to read books. So when they'll have nothing else to do, they will feel the need of reading books. So, and once they start, oh boy, you watch the slowly growing joy. So it says that they will come closer to the books on their own. So they will start reading the books. And once they start reading, the only way is ahead of them. So they are just going to read more and more books. They will find it interesting and read more and more books. That will give them imagination and thought and knowledge and wisdom and satisfaction of mind and heart. So that is what he'll say in next lines. They'll now begin to feel the need of having something to read. So once the television set is taken away, they will feel the need of having something to read. And once they start, oh boy, you watch the slowly growing joy. So they will feel interested in reading the books. That fills their hearts. So the imagination, and the satisfaction of mind, their hearts will be filled with that, and they will start enjoying the reading. They will start enjoying the stories in the books. They will grow so keen, they'll wonder what they had ever seen in that ridiculous machine. They will grow very keen on reading books. So they would have a feeling of reading more books. So that is the interest that will be inculcated in them if the parents will throw away the television sets and ask them to read books and give them books to read. When they'll have nothing else to read, they'll start reading books finally, and they will develop an interest for reading. And then he says, they'll grow so keen. So they'll be very keen to read more and more stories. They'll wonder what they had ever seen in that ridiculous machine. Ridiculous machine is the television set. It says that they would wonder that what they were seeing all these days on the television set, so-called this ridiculous machine. So saying that once they develop interest for reading, they will wonder that what they found in that silly machine called television. The nauseating, foul, unclean, repulsive television screen. So they will find the television screen to be very disgusting and unclean. So these are again the adjectives used to describe the television set. The poet is calling it ridiculous machine, nauseating, foul, unclean, repulsive television screen. And later, each and every kid will love you more for what you did. It says later on, when they will start enjoying reading books, and when finally the habit of reading books will be inculcated in them, they will love their parents more for inculcating in them the habit of reading. This is how the poet advises the parents to inculcate the habit of reading in children, so that they are kept away from dangers of excessive television watching. So I want you to note down certain meanings here that fills their heart. So saying that the joy that they get from reading books will fill their heart. Fill their heart means make them happy. They'll grow so keen. Keen means to be interested. So they'll grow very keen and interesting in reading more books. They will wonder what they had ever seen. So they will wonder that what were they watching all the time? What were they watching all the time on the ridiculous, in that ridiculous machine? Ridiculous means stupid. So it was such a stupid machine. Ridiculous machine is referred to television. That nauseating, foul, unclean. Nauseating means disgusting. So it is just a disgusting machine. So all this, as I've told you earlier, are adjectives used to describe television. Foul, unclean, repulsive television screen. Repulsive again means unpleasant or disgusting. Foul means dirty. Unclean again means the same, that is not clean. And later, each and every kid will love you more for what you did. And this I've already explained you, that later on, when the kids will be interested, they will finally have the habit of reading. So they will love their parents more for inculcating in them the habit of reading. So this is all about the poem. I hope you have understood it well. And I would recommend that if you haven't understood anything, if anything is not clear, do let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much.